Hey guys, we're back again. Welcome to day one in the life of the Galaxy S23 Ultra, the moment we all been waiting for. I know I've been using the Galaxy S23 over the last 10 days or so, and it's actually been a pretty decent experience. Happy with it so far. First few days with the regular Galaxy S23, I was getting 9 to 10 hours of battery life, and towards the end, I was getting 14 to 15 hours, which is pretty good. Maybe it just adapted to my usage or something. So I'm expecting similar trends with the Ultra, just scaled up a little bit more. So my plan is to use the Galaxy S23 Ultra one day and then switch back to the regular the next day. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Or I can just do one phone consistently, but just want to experiment something different every day. I'll switch SIM card and see how that impact my day-to-day life. Alright, so welcome to day one of the Galaxy S23 Ultra. I woke up at 6:07 a.m. and first day with a brand new phone. Had to spend a lot of time playing with the settings, re-downloading the app. Well, technically all the apps already transferred over from my regular Galaxy S23, but just having to log in and get into the groove of things. Day one tend to not have the best battery life due to all these moving parts. But one of the first thing I did was just went in the setting, turn on the watermark. That way you would know when I'm recording from the Galaxy S23 Ultra and when I'm recording from the Galaxy S23. And I guess I do have my Galaxy S20 as my main camera as well. But now you can tell the difference which camera I'm using to record these videos. And with the Ultra being such a large phone, when I put it on my selfie stick, it actually cracked my selfie stick a little bit. Just to be fair, I had this for a little bit over a year, and I always get nervous every time I put a large phone on it because I can see it struggling to open. But just something I wanted to point it out. It did chip a little when I slapped this big guy on the phone mount. Currently recording this video on the Galaxy S23 Ultra's main camera as well. I know yesterday I did use a selfie camera, but did not like the quality. As expected, don't have the best lighting in my room. I just have like a ceiling light. It's early in the morning, so it's still pretty dark outside. And I usually use my main camera from the Galaxy S20 to record most of these videos, but I expect great results since now I'm using the main camera. And as I was playing on my phone, I saw a notification come up that allows me to link my phone to my computer wirelessly. Maybe it saw that I was transferring that file and suggested this, which is kind of cool. Took a few seconds to figure out how to set it up. They kept talking about QR code. I couldn't find it. So then I had to go to a website to find a QR code. And the first website that they provided on here, it didn't even work. It just brought me to Bing search or something. So then I had to use the second website with the pin. That one actually works. And then after fiddling around with that, I was able to get it up and running. I like the idea. You're basically able to use your phone on your computer without having to connect any wires. I mean, it's not the biggest pain in the world to connect the wires, but at the same time, this gives me the option to use my laptop and my phone at the same time on the same screen. If that's something I want to do, maybe there is a use for it. You can tell that it's actually streaming the phone over, because if you're playing games, it's not 100% perfect quality. I do have pretty fast internet at 600 megabytes per second, but even so, you can tell when it's buffering a little and it's not 100% perfect quality. And here's what it actually looks like on my computer screen. Initially, I tried to do a screen recording on my computer itself, but it says that the app doesn't let you do it, which is a shame. And then on the computer, I tried using this app, X Recorder, to actually record the phone screen. Unfortunately, it literally recorded the phone screen that is sitting on the side and not the computer screen. But it's still a pretty cool experience. You have all your apps laid out on here. Initially, I connected this just to see what it is like to transfer data. I didn't realize I was going to get a full phone experience here. As you can see, I can play my Township game on my computer screen and at the same time still have access to my other two monitors. I know this is probably going to kill the battery, but at the same time I wanted to experiment with it. Haven't used this feature before. So this game, when you full screen it, it is horizontal mode. I don't like this little bar that they have at the bottom. Not sure why it doesn't just take up the whole screen, but left some space there. But after I launched the game, got a little distracted, started playing it for like 5 to 15 minutes instead of doing my video. That's a decent experience. Then I was trying to figure out how to transfer the files over to my computer. I thought there would be a more obvious option because at the top here you see apps, text call. They should have made another file option just to make it easier to find, but then you kind of have to really think about it. I guess if you're on your phone and you want to access your files, you just go to your file manager. So that's what I eventually did. Went to my file manager, grab one of these actual file and drag it into my computer, and lo and behold, it does work. All done wirelessly. Pretty cool. I'm not sure how often I'm going to leave this on. It seems to be draining the battery a lot, but for the first day I do want to play around with it. I'm not sure if the regular Galaxy S23 have this option, but I might dig around just to see, because this notification just came up automatically as a tips option, so I just clicked into it and see what it's all about. I do use my computer as a work and personal computer, so I'm just a little nervous about having my apps connected. If I'm doing a presentation, something, maybe a notification might pop up, so we'll see. I do like the idea of it though, a little bit better than Dex, because Dex requires me to remove my whole computer setup and just replace it with the Dex experience, and then my laptop is just sitting there useless. But now I can use my computer and I can use my phone on my computer. The only weird part I don't like, when you launch the apps, everything is in a vertical mode. It doesn't fill up the whole screen. It just takes up a column. Unlike playing a game, it actually fills up the whole screen. Maybe there's a way around it, but for now it's just simulating the phone experience on the computer. And one of the first things I noticed switching over to the Galaxy S23 Ultra is that it is a much larger phone. When I put it in my pocket, you can see it's automatically tilting to the side and almost falling off. Just gotta make sure it's tucked away. I do have zippers in my pocket, so if I'm ever sitting down in a weird chair or something, or I'm slouching, just to make sure it doesn't fall out. And with any time you get a big phone, you do need big pockets, so just be aware of that. With my regular Galaxy S23, this never even crossed my mind, but this is a much larger phone, 6.9 inches, basically 7 inches. It wasn't too long ago that people were screaming that the Galaxy Note 2 was too large at like 5.1 inches or something, but now it's become the norm and the big phone become even bigger. This is basically a 7-inch phone in my pocket. It wasn't too long ago when 7 inches were considered tiny tablets, and now they managed to make the bezel so small that you can fit a 7-inch phone in your pocket. Pretty impressive engineering, I must admit, but either way, moral of the story, it is a large phone. And here's my regular Galaxy S23. Just slips in my pocket pretty easily, doesn't wobble or hang to the side, it just slips deep inside without me having to worry about it tipping over. I do love the Galaxy Note phone, but I always feel like they were a little cumbersome to handle. It's definitely a two-hand phone. You can use it with one hand, but it takes more effort, and you have to make sure you're extra careful and don't want to drop that. Then I make my way outside, going for a quick walk before I start work.
8:52 a.m. Phone is at 82%. Battery's been draining a lot. First day, I was using the link to the computer option. So you basically mirror the phone into the computer. Kind of cool. Pretty sure that was sucking up. Oh God, almost died. Oh shit. Oh man. Super slippery outside. You can see currently snowing. That's winter in Boston for you guys. Yesterday it was 60 degrees. Can run around in t-shirts. Today is snow and slush. Everything is still coming down, so it's kind of wet. Ooh. A little chilly. Got like 8 minutes before work, so just doing a quick stroll. Wanted to capture the snow. It's actually been a pretty quiet year. We got like another month of winter left. Last year we had a few times where it snowed like 5 to 10 inches. This year we had one big snowstorm session. Wouldn't call it storm, but we got like 2 or 3 inches. Who knows? Fingers crossed it'll be a nice quiet winter. But today do have some winter mix. But here's how I'm holding my phone. Got the corner jab in my hand, 2 fingers on top. Make sure you have good form so you don't drop your phone. And it actually feels pretty comfortable. Remember last year when I was using the Galaxy S23 Ultra, the corner would jab into my hand and it actually hurts. This year, whatever they did, corner is still rounded, they squared it off a little bit more, who knows, but it's much more comfortable to hold. But either way, if you have a case on, I think that should resolve most of the problem. But you used the phone without a case last year, it did hurt. This year it doesn't. Portrait video mode on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Looking pretty good. Downside of having such a large phone is when you're holding it, it's actually a little awkward. Takes a lot of practice, a lot of trust, especially since I'm using a $1,200 phone. I guess technically it's $1,100, but after taxes and everything, it comes up to $1,200. Do want to be careful not to drop it. But portrait video actually looks pretty good. I am impressed. But here's how I'm holding. Okay, this is regular video mode. No portrait. Let's just doing a quick stroll back. Got another 4 minutes before work. Trying to walk back quickly, while at the same time try not to slip. Cloudy, snowing outside, hands are cold. Got snow on my mustache. But I do like the video quality so far. And I'm walking as well. One of my favorite features about Galaxy camera is just the flexibility. I can easily switch the lens just like this. Oh god, why is that so blurry? Interesting. Huh. Saw that? It was blurry for like a few seconds and then it adjusted. Maybe that can be fixed with a software update. Forgot, I read an article the other day about some camera focus issue or something like that. Maybe that was it. But let me try to switch it back to the main camera, the selfie camera again. Okay, back to the selfie camera. I accidentally hit stop instead of the reversal button. So let me try to switch cameras. Okay. Seems fine now. Previously had the little blur. Let me switch back. Selfie camera. Takes like a second. But we're in here. Main camera. Not bad. Here's the wide angle. I do like how you can zoom while you're in the middle of the recording. Something that may be pretty minor, but for some reason when I was using the OnePlus 10T, they don't let you zoom while recording. So here it is, the regular 1X, 3X, 10X, and then I guess with video you can only do a max of 20X. Yeah, you got that. Here's the selfie camera. Here's the ultra wide selfie camera. I wish they had an ultra wide mode when recording in selfie mode. Not sure why they included it for pictures but not videos. But overall, quality looks pretty good. And one of my favorite features on smartphone is the slow-mo function. So here's a clip of that for you guys to enjoy. 9:07, made it back to my desk for work. Phone is at 78%. Been running around using the camera, even though it's only for like 10 minutes. Since this is a black phone, you do see dust picking up around the camera array. I would recommend getting lighter colors if you don't want to deal with that. Personally, it doesn't really bother me unless you're really looking for it.
And with the Ultra phone, with the larger camera hump in the back, it is actually more wobbly than the regular Galaxy S23, and I do notice it more, especially if it's sitting on the bow and I'm just tapping it as I'm interacting with my phones. I can notice it is a lot more wobbly and shaky compared to the regular Galaxy S23. And when you tap it on the left side, it's fine because that's where the camera is, but you tap it on the opposite side, it gets really shaky. You can fix this by slapping a case on it, but I don't believe in cases, so here we are. Not a big deal, but just something I wanted to point out. And 9:36, as I'm preparing for my meeting, launching my recording app. I still don't like the search ability for finding apps in the app drawer. So once you look for it, you find the app, you can use it right away. But you want to add to your home screen, you have to long press and then click add to home screen. And for some reason it throws it into an empty screen instead of just filling it into my current page where I have a couple empty slots. Then I have to click it and drag it back. Just a lot of steps. I remember back in the days I used to be able to search an app, just click and drag it and bring it to the main screen pretty effortlessly. But now it just takes a little bit more effort. But I guess with every phone there's always little weird quirks like that can be annoying. Just like the Google Pixel 7. It is such a pain to turn off Wi-Fi. You have to drag down a notification, click on the internet, turn off the Wi-Fi. Good thing about the Galaxy S23 series, you can just drag down a notification, click on the Wi-Fi, and then it's off. Then do the same thing to turn it on. Little things like that does take a second here and there. Next thing you know it, your day is over. And now I'm finally having a chance to use the S Pen. And I do like that it does work on this particular game that I play. In the past, when I had other Galaxy Notes before, I noticed that not all the games would work with the S Pen. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe the developer didn't allow it or something. But I feel like for games like these, if you have fat fingers, it can be a little difficult to interact with certain areas, but I do like that the pen work on this game. I didn't try it on any of the other games because I'm not playing a whole bunch of games at the moment, but I'm glad that the pen does work the way that it's intended. Feels like I'm using a giant Nintendo DS. You can actually do that too by downloading an emulator and ROMs. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing that. I used to do that in the past, but I can simulate that experience on here as well. I'll put that down as a to-do. And for those who are curious, no, you cannot use the S Pen on the regular S23. It just doesn't work. With the S Pen, it's some special technology in it. It's not as simple as using any random stylus and try tapping it on your phone. It doesn't work like that. And no, you cannot use it on an iPhone either. It's only meant for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. 10:41 a.m. phone is at 66%, draining relatively quickly for a normal workday. I know the camera usage and the wireless link to the computer is hurting the battery life early in the morning, but it was still a fun experiment. And I noticed that the fingerprint sensor does not work that well on this phone for some reason. On the smaller S23, I feel like it works 9 out of 10 times, but on the S23 Ultra, it takes me a few tries. Sometimes I have to do it at least 2 or 3 times before it unlocks. Maybe the coverage area is too small or something, and the ratio is off compared to this big phone. But anyways, we'll see if this continues to be an issue. But I got my Calm app running early in the morning just to get some daily motivation in. For lunch, we got some salad and taco. Picture actually looked pretty good. Everything is pretty even. Remember when I was using the Galaxy S23 regular, the edges tend to be blurred out. But this is a pretty good looking picture on the S23 Ultra. Here's what it looks like in Snapchat view. Automatically cropped. Slightly lower quality. I guess I can turn on the wide angle if I want a bigger view. 2:31, my phone is at 40%. Was reading an article on the Google News feed talking about how Gen Z in the US only like iPhones. And I can see that Apple have a pretty close ecosystem. There's a whole blue bubble, green bubble thing, which I think is stupid. But you know, people are not always reasonable, so here we are. It's nothing new at this point. But just interesting to see that the younger kids prefer iPhones in the US, and people really don't like the green bubble. Just Apple have a very strong ecosystem. When people buy any of the product, they tend to be locked in and buy more products. And that is a whole another debate for another day. but certainly not new information there. 2:53, phone is at 36%. The end is near. Trying to get some more steps in throughout the day whenever I get a break during work. And just for fun, my regular S23 at 305 is currently sitting at 70% battery. I mean, the SIM card is not in it, but I'm still using it randomly throughout the day as well on the side just to play music, interact with it here and there. And this phone has been with me for about a week, so it did adjust to my usage compared to the S23 Ultra. I'm not too concerned about the battery discrepancy in day one. Although it is a bigger battery and bigger phone, it's also a bigger screen sucking up more battery. But I'll give the Ultra at least a week before making a final verdict on the battery life. And in the afternoon, as I'm eating lunch, doing some research on wood filler, watching YouTube videos. I usually like to watch what people are doing before I go and attempt it myself. So just doing some prep work here as I continue to work on my basement. Is a picture of a gelato shot on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Looks very nice and detailed. Everything is balanced. No blurry edges. And then later in the day I have the phone call come in. Looks like a random number. I just press rejected. And then immediately Samsung gave me this notification to activate this Bixby text call feature. I didn't even know Samsung had this, but this sounds pretty similar to the Google AI recognition thing. I've always been a big fan of that when I was using the Pixel 7, where it allows you to filter spam calls and have it go to an AI, and then you don't need to talk to it unless you want to. But I will turn this on and see how it works. Now I will anxiously wait for a spam call and hopefully I remember to record it. But at 6:01 p.m. phone is at 14%. Made my way over to Whole Foods to do some shopping. And then finally got back home after a long day one. 6:49 p.m. phone is at 5%. I did have it on a wireless charger briefly as I was driving to Whole Foods and back, but you can knock off like a few percentages there. Either way, first day with this phone, got close to 13 hours of battery life, which is pretty solid for day one. With the S23 regular, I was getting 9 to 10 hours, but the Ultra on day one, I'm getting close to 13. Curious to see how it's going to look like in a week when I'm not using the camera a lot, the link to Windows. As you can tell, the link to Windows, I only had it up for like 5 minutes and it sucked up like 6% of the battery. I used camera for half an hour, played Township for like 53 minutes, YouTube for 40 minutes. But at the end of the day, it is just day one. I do expect battery life to adjust each day as it passes. There you have it guys, day one with the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Tomorrow I'm going to switch back to my regular S23 to continue day 11. We'll see how that format goes and let me know if you guys have a preference. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please check out day 10 of the S23 if you haven't already. See you guys in the next video.